How to land a job in software sales. That's what we're talking about today. My name is Dwayne Golden Jr. I am a software executive currently at a $20 billion software company, and I lead a sales organization here. So I want to talk to you about if you're in sales or you want to get into tech, you want to break into software sales, how the heck can you do it? What's going to give you the best chances of getting hired? I interview people at least 2 to 3 every single day. So I think some of this stuff can be helpful for a lot of you guys looking to break into tech. So let's talk about it. What does it take to land a job in software sales without any experience? Well, first, I think the first step is let's talk about why would you even want a job in software sales? Hopefully, if you're watching this video, the reason you want to get into software sales is because you want to get freaking paid. If you're not looking to get paid, wrong career path. In fact, one of the things we look for as a software company, right? I want to know that somebody I'm hiring is very career and money motivated. If you're not motivated by cashing huge commission checks, wrong career path. In some of my questions that I'm going to ask you, I'm going to quickly find out what drives a person. And if money is not a part of that equation, look, doesn't mean you're a bad person. Clearly not, right? Might mean you're a great person, but you're probably not a salesperson. So why do you want to get into software sales? One of the reasons needs to be so you can get freaking paid. The people that should be looking and even entertaining this idea of software sales are people who are extremely competitive. If you like to win, this is it. If you don't like competition, you will not like sales. You will not like software sales specifically because it's extremely competitive. Now, if you get a good company, it's not toxic. If you get a good company, it's healthy competition. If you get in a bad company, man, it's gonna be a rough go of it, right? But competition has to be one of those drivers. So enough about identifying if you're one of the people that should be looking at tech sales. Let's get in the nitty gritty about what do I do to get in one of these companies without experience. The first thing, you want to make sure your resume speaks to why someone should hire you. But Dwayne, I'm just a bartender. I've never done anything other than bartend and wait tables. Doesn't matter. You've got to build this resume in a way that you can connect your skills as a bartender, connect your skills as a waiter or waitress to sales, right? So some of the, like you're talking to a guy who's hired multiple bartenders, many waiters and waitresses at software sales companies, and they've done well, right? One of the things that the people I hire do is they're able to connect their job. So if you're a bartender, talk to me. So one of the questions I like to ask is, have you ever been in a job where your results were measured, where they measured certain activities? And the bartenders who get hired can speak to, yeah, I had to upsell and cross-sell a certain amount of X type of alcohol, right? Or I had to upsell, X brand that we partnered with. And here's how well I did it. I led by this much percentage. Start measuring things now. Go back. Look at the data. Like, make sure you can speak to the amount of times you were able to upsell X particular product. Talk to, hey, man, I had such a good relationship with these customers that whenever I suggested, a higher priced item, they trusted me enough. You got to be able to connect whatever you did previously with something that will apply directly to sales. So notice you didn't have to work at another software company in order to say that. Even if you're a bartender, even if you're a waitress, a waiter, even if you're a barista at Starbucks, there's things that you're doing and selling on a daily basis. Your job is to connect the dots. So if you're taking notes, if you're going into an interview over the next couple of weeks, write this down. Connect the dots. What can I put into my resume that connects the dots? One thing we love in sales is numbers, right? It's going to be hard for you to do this job if you don't like numbers. Write some numbers down. How many transactions do you do daily? How many upsells or cross sells, right? What is an upsell if you're a waiter or a waitress? An upsell may mean, hey, they had one beer, I sold them another one. Or they had one dessert, I sold them 3. Or there's anything, right? Upsell, cross-sell. Think about how often you're doing it. So if you're still employed at that bartending job, if you're still employed at that waiter or waitress job, start noting some of this stuff down throughout your day. Start asking some of your managers questions if you're still hired. If not, just do your best job at guessing. So step 1, connect the dots on your resume. Should be obvious. Second one, don't skip number 1, is connect with recruiters. Everybody applies. If you go out online, some of the things you guys are going to notice is you're getting about 150 applications for every open job posting very quickly. The job market has changed and the employers have the upper hand. You've got to do a job of connecting with the recruiter. That means sending them messages. That means connecting with them on LinkedIn. That means having conversations and being proactive. We know what a good salespeople do? They follow up. They're extreme about follow-up. Guess what? It's a good sign if the person we're considering for an interview is following up. If you're writing me an email after, if you're writing me a message on LinkedIn because we're gonna have an interview in a couple of days, or you write me a message after the interview, I'm like, oh, this person's actually really serious about getting a job. Sounds good. So make sure you're connecting with the recruiters. Build relationships. Getting hired, closing deals, all these things have one thing in common. They're built based upon the relationships. I have this quote I say when I'm doing my thing, I'm training my salespeople. I say, look, if you think about basketball, you know why they call it a free throw? Because no one can block your shot. No one can play defense. No one can raise a hand in front of your face. It's a free shot. You get to shoot a free throw without anybody trying to block it. If you build a relationship with the customer, they bring their guards down, right? Because they have that trust with you. If you build a relationship, their guard is down, which means they're not playing defense, and it's much easier to get a deal done. Same with getting a job. If you can build a relationship with a recruiter over time, if you can build a relationship with some of these people, it's much easier to get in the interview. What are you doing to connect? Everybody communicates, very few connect. It's a good book, go and read it if you don't have it yet, by John Maxwell. Okay, first thing, connect the dots with your resume. Second thing, recruiters, connect with them. Third, your hiring manager. Find out who the hiring managers are for your position, right? Who is the manager that you would be reporting to? Or who are the potential managers, right? If somebody's like my company right now, we're hiring a ton of people. So there's more than one potential hiring manager. We've got multiple managers looking to hire right now. So find out who your hiring manager could be and start connecting with them. If a manager needs people desperately, right? And that's a lot of companies are in that position right now in terms of salespeople, like we're always hiring. If you can make a relationship with the hiring manager, the manager will call the recruiter and say, get this person in for an interview immediately. I do it all the time. Connect with your hiring manager. This might be one of the most valuable things you can do. Let them know, hey, I'm really hungry. All I need is a shot. I think I can be a real asset to your team. All this kind of stuff. Talk about, hey, man, I've successfully sold in my current position. Even though I'm a bartender, even though I'm a Starbucks barista, I'm the freaking best at it, right? I'm the best at cross-selling. Start putting your statistics and stuff on the resume so when you're going out, when you're talking to your hiring manager, you can start talking to them about some of these statistics. So far we've talked about a few different things, and I don't want to distract from the main point. How do you get a job if you don't have any experience? Well, if you go through the steps and you prepare and you've got the resume, you've connected the dots, you've listed out certain statistics on the paper, you've connected with your recruiter on LinkedIn. The next part is, once you've got an interview on the schedule, you've got to crush your interview. In order to crush your interview, preparation is critical. I can't tell you the amount of times where if I go into an interview, I can tell who's actually very serious and who's taken the opportunity to speak with me very seriously. If someone comes in and I ask them, say, hey, okay, cool, tell me what you know about X company, or tell me what you know about my company already. If they just tell me what they read off a website, or if they have to look down and read their notes, they're not prepared. They're not prepared. And that tells me, look, this person, if they're not going to prepare for an interview, they're not going to prepare for a sales call. And if you're not going to prepare to make money, what will you prepare for? So, seems silly, but if you're not prepared and you don't know anything about the company and you're not learning what the company sells, how they're positioned in the market, who their competitors are, who owns them, who their CEO is, like, prepare. What do you know about the company? You're likely going to get a question like that. And even if you don't get a question, you can use this information throughout your interview. And yeah, it's like sets people apart when you can see who's prepared. Second thing, and I think this is a whole separate video on its own, but I'm going to talk a little bit about right now, is what are companies looking for? The first thing is, let's be clear. Anybody hiring a salesperson, a salesman, saleswoman, they're looking for ROI. They want somebody who can bring the numbers, somebody who will hit their goals, somebody who will hit their quota. So one of my least favorite questions I get is, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate? I want somebody who's going to hit the freaking number. Obviously, we don't want to hire any jerks or anybody just going to be, hard to work with. So that goes without being said. What am I looking for? Somebody who who's going to consistently hit their freaking quota. So if you can come in and talk to, hey, look, this is what I've done so far. I've never had an exact sales job, but I understand what it takes. I've been studying, right? I've been a barista at Starbucks. I've worked in marketing, and we were held to specific numbers, or I drove trucks, right? And we had to do X amount of deliveries. I was always in the top percentile. Like, whatever you can do, speak to numbers. That's what matters. That's what a manager wants. Why is a manager hiring someone? Because they got a number to hit as well. Make it clear. You're there on a mission. My goal by joining your company is to hit whatever number I have. If it's a number of leads, maybe you're starting out. So if you're brand new to tech sales, and this is gonna be your first job in sales period, or first job in tech sales period, it's likely you might be starting off as a BDR or an SDR. That's somebody whose job is to cold call their face off and generate qualified leads. Or maybe you wanna come in as an account manager, right? Either way, you have certain metrics you need to hit, and you gotta be comfortable with that. You gotta be somebody who can operate under pressure, who thrives under pressure. And if you don't like pressure, this is the wrong career. So what are companies look for? They're looking to hit their number. And here's some major pitfalls that I think you can pay attention to avoid. Don't major on the minors. If you don't have any experience, if this is your first job out of college, or this is your first job in tech, don't major on the minors. Don't get so focused in on the salary. Do not. You gotta look at the OTE, on target earnings. What can you make if you hit your number? One of the worst questions you can ask as a job candidate is, what does the average salesperson make a year? I got news for you. And this is across any company, any industry. Average salespeople suck, okay? So don't ask about the average unless you're planning on coming in and being average. That's a red flag to me. Don't ask me what the average salesperson does, because you should know if you're going to be, worth anything as a potential salesperson in my company. You asking me about what the average is doing, that tells me you're planning on coming in and being average. I have zero interest in average. I want somebody who's confident and believes they're going to be in the top percentile, right? You should be asking, what are some of the top people making? So don't major on the minors. Don't ask what the average salesperson making. Second, maybe you're taking what's considered an entry-level job in tech sales. Just get your way in there, because once you get a job at a software sales company, the recruiters are going to be knocking your door down nonstop. Get in. That's the first thing. Get in, spend at least a year at your first company and learn the role. Get good. Get in that top 10 or 5th percentile, right? That's what you got to focus on. Don't major on the minors. Don't major on, oh man, it only pays this much. Oh, the benefits this. Just get in. Get in. This is a stepping stone. One of the other things that I see that people mess up on is they undervalue themselves just because they've never had a job in tech, right? They don't think, or they come in and are like, yeah, I know. And you can just tell people who just lack confidence. And that's one of the things that you don't want in a salesperson, because you can't teach someone how to be confident. So don't undervalue yourself just because you used to be a Starbucks barista, or you're coming from a different career. If you know you've been one of the top people at your company, you're competitive naturally, those are the people we want. Like, yeah, listen, I was the best at my job. I know other people in my career, like other people at my last company, some of them were good. I consistently ranked in the top 5%. I know it wasn't sales, but I'm competitive. I'm gonna bring that sort of energy here. So don't undervalue yourself just because you didn't do that specific things. If you've got a history of crushing it in whatever field, talk about it. The other problem that some people have is overvaluing themselves, coming in a little bit too cocky, too arrogant. Just be confident in what you do. Don't take it too far. In summary, we've been talking a long time. Here's what you can do. If you want some help in getting a job without any prior experience in tech or software sales, leave me a comment and I'm happy to jump on a call and spend at least 10-15 minutes with you and help you, give some advice or whatever you need in order to get a job in software sales. I'm happy to help. Leave a comment, type interested if you want to connect. I'm happy to set up a phone call, Zoom call, whatever, and find out exactly what it takes for you guys to get hired. I'm happy to help. My name is Dwayne Golden. I appreciate you watching the video. If you liked it, like it, right? If you liked the video, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If not, all good. My name is Dwayne. It's been a pleasure getting to chat with you guys today. I wish you the best. Get hired. Let's have some fun. Let's get paid.